For years, the Arctic has been a place of mystery and the unknown. Sailors traveling north from Europe found it so cold that the ocean froze and formed a barrier that ships could not get through. However, advances in shipbuilding technology resulted in the creation of the icebreaker, a vessel strong enough to not only withstand the crushing power of the ice, but to break through it. In today's video, we will have a look at the world's largest ice-breaking ships. But before we start, make sure you click subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can keep up with all our latest videos. Number 9. Despite being commissioned in 1982, Polarstern is still one of the most advanced icebreakers in its class. It was a flagship of the Alfred Wegener Institute and was built to hold polar and marine research facilities. In fact, between 1999 and 2001, Polarstern was massively remodeled and overhauled to better equip it for scientific polar research. With the ability to operate in the packed ice zone, Polarstern can break up ice as thick as 5 feet and withstand temperatures as low as -58 degrees Fahrenheit. Measuring over 380 feet in length, and with a top sailing speed of 5 knots when breaking through ice, Polarstern is one of Germany's strongest vessels. On average, Polarstern is operational 317 days in the year and covers over 50,000 nautical miles. Through research and supply runs, the ship is an integral part of the German Antarctic research programs. Number 8. Named after the 12th Prime Minister of Canada, Louis S. St-Laurent is the largest icebreaker in the Canadian fleet. Classed as a heavy Arctic icebreaker, she serves a dual purpose of bringing supplies and aid to some of Canada's most rural communities and providing a strong presence in the polar region. The 393-foot-long vessel is a mighty giant in the freezing north, whose schedule typically consists of voyages to Canada's Arctic, where she carries out multidisciplinary scientific expeditions or supports the annual Arctic Sea Lift to transport military goods where needed. Since she was built in 1969, the ship has been through 35 refits, survived 2 massive fires, broke ground, rescued ships double her size, and offered aid to those living on the tundra of northern Canada. Her captain claims that this hasn't slowed her down, and she is likely to keep going for 15 more years. Number 7. Almirante Irizar is one of Argentina's largest Navy vessels. Named after Julian Irizar, the lieutenant of the Argentinian Navy, most of this ship's missions revolve around resupplying Antarctic outposts and transporting and rotating research personnel. Almirante Irizar's history is long and storied. Throughout the years, she has transported troops during the Falkland War, become a hospital ship, and taken on daring search and rescue missions. However, in 2007, that history almost abruptly ended when a catastrophic fire broke out on board. All crew members were evacuated, and the captain stayed on board alone for nearly 24 hours before being rescued. Having suffered considerable damage and losing the 2 $18 million Sea King helicopters, Almirante Irizar was deemed a total loss. However, the efforts to save her were ultimately successful. After 9 years docked in repairs, she was finally considered safe for the open seas. Unfortunately, the $1.9 million repair bill is a grim reminder of the effects of the 2007 fire. Number 6. USCGC Healy is the United States' largest icebreaker in its Coast Guard fleet. Built in New Orleans, Louisiana, the 420-foot icebreaker was launched on November 15, 1997. The Healy is used primarily as a scientific vessel and has over 4,200 square feet of research and laboratory space. It can burst through ice as thick as 4.5 feet and maintain 3-knot cruising speed thanks to the 4 diesel generators which can generate up to 35 megawatts of power. Unfortunately, in 2020, all Arctic operations had to stop after a fire broke out on the ship just off the coast of Seward, Alaska. This incident damaged critical propulsion systems, and crew members had to reroute to Seattle, Washington for repairs. Despite no reported injuries, Healy must now go under extensive repairs that involve cutting open the ship in order to remove the 106-ton engine inside. Number 5. Built as a successor to AGB-5002 Shirase, the AGB-5003 icebreaker was launched in April of 2008 in Maizuru, Japan. Costing over 37 billion yen and weighing in at over 12,500 tons, this is the 4th of the Shirase series of icebreakers. The 452-foot-long ship is powered by 4 diesel-electric motors, which can provide enough power to reach a top speed of 3 knots when breaking ice as thick as 5 feet in the frozen waters of the Antarctic. The Shirase has had an interesting life since her inclusion in the Japanese Defense Force. In 2013, an anti-whaling group claimed that the vessel was associated with whaling activities, a claim that was strenuously denied and had no evidence to back it up. Though cleared from the accusations, the ship's luck wouldn't last long, and tragedy would strike in 2014 when Shirase unexpectedly ran aground outside Antarctica. Though the outer hull was penetrated, the vessel avoided sinking and managed not to leak any fuel into the environment. This kept danger at bay and let Shirase live to sail another day. Number 4. The Yamal is the youngest of the Arktika series of Russian icebreakers, launched in October of 1992. It uses two OK-900A nuclear reactors to power it, and at a length of 486 feet, this kind of power is most definitely needed. Yamal was originally designed in the Soviet era, but by the time she was launched in October 1992, communism had already collapsed. Yamal and her sister ships are confined to operations in the Northern Hemisphere. This is because their reactors, shielded by steel, high-density concrete, and water, need cool water to function, but a trip to the south would mean crossing the equator, where this doesn't exist. Yamal helps to facilitate the growing trend for mass tourism in extreme areas, as she is one of the few vessels capable of getting to the North Pole and bringing tourists with it safely. Number 3. Operated by Rosatomflot, Vaygach is the longest-serving icebreaker in the Russian Federation. Powered by a single KLT-40M nuclear reactor, it's capable of breaking ice up to 7 feet thick. Intended to have already been in retirement by now, in 2016, the vessel's nuclear reactor was studied and granted an extension from 175,000 working hours to 200,000 working hours. This added 5 long years to Vaygach's lifetime, and in 2018, it earned a world record for the longest-serving nuclear-powered vessel in history. However, the history of Vaygach hasn't always been a happy one. In 2011, a fire broke out inside the ship's living quarters, which ended up with 2 people being killed and a third injured due to smoke inhalation. Many were worried that the ship would leak radioactive material into the environment, much like her sister ship Taimyr had already done that very same year. However, the reactor was luckily not affected, and there was no radiation on board the ship. This was fortunate, as had it been affected, it would have been catastrophic to the ship and for the surrounding environment, which would have been polluted for years to come. Number 2. Russia's 50 Let Pobedy is the second largest icebreaker in the world. This gigantic vessel is 525 feet long and is powered by 2 OK-900A nuclear reactors. The ship's name translates to 50 years of victory, referring to the anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union in World War II. The Victory has a unique feature which helps it break ice. Its spoon-shaped bow, as well as its huge size and weight, are capable of breaking ice up to 16 feet thick. Although the Victory is now used as a tourist vessel and has many luxurious features such as a bar and sauna among others, this wasn't why it was originally designed. Rather, the icebreaker was purpose-built to pilot the Russian scientific community and cargo ships to hard-to-reach areas in the Arctic and along the Northeast Passage. These days, the ship offers comfortable accommodation and gourmet cuisine for 128 passengers for just over $31,000 per trip. Number 1. The Arktika icebreaker represents a new dawn for icebreakers, as it is the lead ship in a new series of Russian vessels under which is known as Project 22220. The project will eventually see 5 new giant ships be launched, and these will surpass all icebreakers that have gone before them. On the 14th of November, Arktika left the port of Murmansk to officially become the largest icebreaker ever to enter service, having been launched 4 years earlier. Arktika was the first of 3 LK-60 icebreakers, which are dual-draught, wide-beam ships able to handle 9 feet of ice. They are each powered by 2 RITM-200 reactors of 175 megawatts each. With over 568 feet in length, the ship is undoubtedly the king of icebreakers until it's joined by its sibling Sibir, which is expected to enter operation in 2021, and Ural in 2022.